ever tried to talk to someone about an annoying behavior or even try to confront them about something they did to you wrong? Do you just walk away from the situation or just avoid the drama altogether? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Today on Catholic Faith Forum, we shall be discussing how to have difficult conversations. And with me here today is Deborah Oyewole, a marketing and communications consultant. And I'm Nonso, and this is Catholic Faith Forum. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from the short break, we'll meet our guests and get right into our discussion. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Catholic Faith Forum. I am Nonso, and joining my discussion today is Deborah. And together we'll be talking about having difficult conversations with people. As direct as this sounds, I know that it's very heavy.
Yes, it is.
So what are difficult conversations to you?
Well, I think difficult conversations are those conversations or situations where both parties or one person is emotionally vested, or where there are stakes, you know, in that conversation. It could rub off wrongly on the other person, and it could rub off. Most of the time, it is highly volatile, emotions are involved, and a lot of things are involved. It could go south.
And it's very weird. South.
Yes, very, very
so
weird.
So what are some conversations that can be called difficult?
That's interesting, because you can call a conversation difficult and it is nothing to me. So, and then it will also depend on the relationship, vibe between two people. So there are times when a relationship is hitting the rocks. So you are literally walking on eggshells with that person. Yeah. So a simple, you didn't say hi to me, something really, really small could just trigger. And also you are now scared to even ask them simple things. They now seem like difficult conversations. However, difficult conversations could span something as simple as, did you brush today?
Or trying to tell someone that, you have a body odor, or your mouth is,
Yes. So
very difficult.
It varies. Like, it's a whole spectrum. So it could, and it's also across different frontiers. So there's a family difficult conversation.
Exactly.
There's a difficult conversation you could have with someone at work. So it depends. But at the end of the day, you are scared. At the end, you are scared of what will happen if I say this. The
outcome, exactly. Yes. So
yes.
What do you think causes difficult conversations in families or relationships?
Yeah, it is because there are vested interests in a particular situation, a particular investment. So when it comes to family, we are sharing the same space, we are sharing the same, goals, and there are times when expectations are not met. So when expectations are not met, conflicts, abound. So there is that need to actually now have conversations that you are doing this thing, but to me it's beginning to rub off wrongly. So you want to know if that person is on the same page with you.
Exactly.
You want to know. So a lot of times it is because you have vested interests, and you are also, looking out for your own best interest, and before you know it.
So, like, for instance, if I want to raise a difficult conversation with somebody, how do you think I can do that? What's the best way?
Then, first off, it depends on the persona of the person you're about to have that difficult conversation with. So if you know that this person is very sensitive, you might want to buy time. You might want to look for the best time to have that conversation. So you already know the tempo, you already know the work life of the person. So if you look at the traditional African setting, before the woman would, table a family issue with the man, she makes sure he's home, he's had a shower,
he's eating, the food is looking clean, and everything as well.
Yeah, so, and there are some people that they are midnight crew, 2 a.m. They just say, Papa Nkechi, I have something to tell you. Yeah. So a lot of times, and I believe that happens because they have seen how that person, works. They've seen when they have much stress. They've seen where they are more receptive to new conversations. So they now put in that matter. So it depends on your, how much you know that person, your persona with that person, your relationship rather with that person. So it will influence the time, the space, and how you are even going to table that matter.
Thank you. Let's go on this short break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is still Catholic Faith Forum, and we're discussing how to have difficult conversations. So now we just talked about trying to monitor the person's mood, the person's well-being, how they operate. What are some of the reasons why people avoid difficult conversations?
Okay, like I said earlier, vested interests. There are times when you know that this person is literally heading south, but because of the interest you have in that person, so someone might be doing something that you do not like, but you feel that once you say a piece of your mind, you lose favor with that person. So there are different reasons that people do not, have difficult conversations. In the workplace, a lot of people avoid having difficult conversations with their bosses or subordinates because of the fear of favor. That when it is time to be promoted, you be like, oh, this person said something wrong to me the other day.
Yeah.
And you were just trying to look out for the other person. So a lot of times people are scared of the outcome. And it is because they are emotionally invested in that outcome. So when they are saying that this thing might not favor me, I might just hold it. I might just hold off that conversation till it becomes an elephant in the room. So that's why people do not.
What if I'm trying to confront someone that annoyed me? What's the best way to do this? I know some people don't know how to confront. They come to you with quarrel or with fight and they're ready to beat you up, just confront you. So what's the best way to actually confront the person?
Okay, I always recommend not confronting the person when you are high in emotions. And one quick way to also check it, even when you're high in emotions, is that you are speaking to the matter. You are not speaking to the person. You are not attacking the persona. You're speaking to that matter. So it's like, we're saying, come, let's reason together. Let's have a round table. And that's why they say dialogue session. So you could have a round table with a terrorist. And you are not saying you are a terrorist. You're like, why are you? What is the reason for this terrorism? They are not attacking. So you have to speak to the situation and how you feel about that situation. So when you are not confrontational, why are you always just ready for a defense? Like, a lot of times from the other person. So.
What about in cases of disagreement? I'm talking with you now and then we disagree. How do I handle disagreement from you, even when I don't agree with what you're saying?
Yeah.
So how do I handle that?
So when it comes to disagreement, so it's a thread. There are times when you turn disagreement sessions to series. So you start now and it depends on the relationship. So if you're having this conversation with your other half, your sibling, there are times when you want to, and like I said, it's a difficult conversation because there is a high possibility that emotions will run high.
Exactly.
So when you are seeing that it's festering to something that you might start exchanging words, you will just, hold off and say, okay, let's continue this later. But you are trying to, you are ensuring that is not affecting other situations in your life. So you literally isolate that situation. So it's not affecting the other, parts that you would have to deal with that person. So when it comes to the family front or between, in relationships, for instance, it is better that you have it in seasons if you see that person is not listening. And then there are times when one of the quickest ways, when they say choose your battle, is also to emotionally detach. To actually have internal conversations with yourself that, okay, this, let me give you a very typical example that, okay, this person's armpits always smell, they have a BO situation. Okay, what can I do? Should I just give a gift of a deodorant then you are scared that, okay, will this person say I can't afford? You always think of ways that will present it as against putting it in their faces. There's this social media trend that says, say this thing without saying it.
Yeah.
So you are literally talking about it, or you are addressing it from a solution-based point of view, and then you are doing it. And then there's also the part where, especially when it's a sibling, you emotionally detach. And it depends on how weighty the matter is. So when you're emotionally detached, you are not as aggravated. You can literally wait for that conversation to happen without allowing it to affect every other part of your life.
But wouldn't that mean that you don't really care about the situation at that point in time?
So there are times when I internalize things a lot, for instance. So there are times when you see that, let's use nagging, for instance, or when we as ladies express how we feel immediately. You mean well. You are telling this other person that this is how I feel. But a lot of times they are hearing the external. They are not hearing the internal.
The internal, yeah.
So why not, why wouldn't you just, it would be better for you to emotionally detach. And when I mean emotionally detaching, it's not, you are still going to talk about it, but you are not going to be high in any of the emotions when you're talking about it.
I like that. Let's go on this short break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion. Stay with us.
Yes, at first, I need to reflect more so that if I'm to act, will my action end up establishing peace between the person and myself? If the outcome is not going to be peaceful, I don't take any step, or that I'm sure that, yes, I'm going to achieve peace with the person. And if there's any difficulty in achieving this peace, I consult a third party, pour out my mind, and then seek advice before I can now seek for a solution of reconciliation with the person.
Welcome back. This is Catholic Faith Firm, and we're still discussing how to handle difficult conversations. So now let's go over to the issue of secrets. What if someone tells you a secret and you cannot keep it? How would you handle it? Interesting.
So I see secrets like it's like a food chain. It's like a chain. So we all have confidence
exactly
in our circle. So as long as you see that I am a safe space, I think it would be best that I also have a safe space. So it's a chain.
And that's why it goes round.
So that's why it becomes an open secret. But it is because someone else, gets out of that deed of agreement of holding on to the secret to, meet with the other person. So a lot of times, before it is ideal that before you share a secret with the other person, they are worthy. You have tested them in environment. You have tested them in other things that you're sure that this secret is safe. And there are people, sincerely, God is so amazing. He has created people to be as vaults, like they are living vaults. Some secrets die with people.
Wow.
So it depends on again, it has to do with the personality. If I know that this person I'm speaking with is skin deep, that anything like this, they will I know that I can't give my heart, or I can't say hard things to that person. So it depends. So a lot of times it's better to know who or where your safe spaces are so that you are able to spill. And, based on the faith that we have, it's best to just share your secret with your maker. It just does a whole lot of things, because a lot of times when you say it out, it is like out of your belly. So you are speaking. That's why we vent to these people sometimes. We vent. You just want to rant, and then you rant and rant and rant. And, are you better? Okay, I'm better.
I think people can also go for Catholics, you go for confession.
Yes.
And talk to your priest. Yes. You don't have contact with them as usual or regularly. So go to your priest and tell them about your secrets instead of just telling anybody and then everyone now knows
That's why I talked about safe spaces.
Yes.
When you have your confession sessions with your priest, there is no fear. There is no fear. There is no judgment. There is no superiority. You know that you're coming as you are, like you would come to, the throne of God and everything. Yes. So that is what they are doing. So there is no fear. So it is better that you are sure that those spaces are safe before you now spill with your secrets. Because what we have out there is people giving keeping their secrets in the wrong places. Yes, in the wrong vaults. Like there are some very deep vaults, and then there are some very shallow votes.
So that's nice. So I want to ask about your personal experience. Have you had a time where you had a difficult conversation with somebody, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, I think I would like to speak about how I have evolved.
Okay.
So there are times when I have a difficult conversation. I have a difficult situation with this person, but I do not have a thick skin to hold it in. So it is two ways. There are times when you treat the matter immediately, but that is when you are in touch with your emotions. So you are not attacking. And there are times when you look for the best place and time. So I've had situations where I spoke immediately and I spoke in my emotions. So I ended up apologizing. when it was actually a situation where that person was supposed to apologize or be better. You know, so you end up apologizing because you started attacking and all. So I started to learn how to detach, know when my high points of emotions are, or like you said, get a safe space. You know, someone who you just vent.
Exactly.
So when you are speaking to that person, it's like an edited version.
Exactly.
So you have an edited version that does not take away the heart of the matter that you are trying to solve, but it is taking away the pangs, you know, that poison as it would be. So a lot of times I start with inquiries. Should I be bothered that you are doing this? So I've learned how to use those tactical words. Like, okay, why do you do this? Or what is going on with you? So for those that know me well, they're like, okay, what's up? But it is not from a bad defensive feeling. I've seen that a lot of times. My friends want to know that, okay, why do you ask? There's that openness because I'm not going to come out to, you know, attack you. I want us to talk about a situation. So I think inquiries, I start with inquiries and then I let it go. And then there are friends when there are people who I grade or gauge rather the consequence of my detachment from them. And then I just emotionally withdraw. I emotionally detach. So whatever they say, you're just speaking
Doesn't
to
matter.
It's not hitting. But the reason why we're friends or the reason why we have a relationship, and I use that a lot with bosses. So I am not emotionally, I'm not scared. I'm not sad when you attack me.
Exactly.
You know, I just know that, okay, that's it. So I'm emotionally detached. I'm not expecting praise from you. I'm not expecting criticism from you. Anyone that comes is fine. I'm here to do the job, and the job I will do. So if it gets to me, I'll go and meet a safe space.
Okay.
So it works a lot in the workplace, actually, where you just emotionally detach sometimes and speak to
I've learned that already from you. What about those people, like someone like me? I don't know how to, when I find myself in a difficult conversation, in a difficult situation with a person, I find it very, very difficult to express myself. I keep quiet for a very long time. Silent treatment. And so it's just going on and on in my head, like, okay, what should I say next? What should I say next?
Yeah. And
I go quiet. Sometimes I never address it. Sometimes I still go back and talk about it. Do you think that's a bad thing in itself?
So silent treatment, it's a mix. Because I think I get to do that sometimes too. And it's not because I'm trying to, I've learned not to withdraw favors even when I'm silently treating. You know, a lot of times silent treatment can be silent treatment, like you're not talking to me. It's silence. And there are times when you are still cordial with the person, but you know that you used to be very intimate with this person, that this person would tell you the pains of their hearts. But that person just, oh, hi, how you doing? So, good. So it's like, how's the weather? You know, those how's the weather greetings. So, but you know that this person is, you know, taking a lot of stuff from you. But so I feel like silent treatment helps in being slow to speech, but one shouldn't stay on that pain for a long time. Yes. And or except if, you know, like I said, you have gauged that friendship. You know, there are some friends that are just acquaintances.
Yes.
So rather than waste that
time,
that will not necessarily waste, you know, pour out a lot of emotions, and sometimes you know their outcome. You know that they are going to say, that's your beeswax, like, I don't care. And then you'll be hurt all the more. So I'd rather just stay, or in other in another setting, even as the Bible instructs, you can even go meet someone who they respect.
Yeah, and talk to the person.
So knowing that, okay, you have, you know, done your bit.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I will invite you some other time to come here.
I'd love to.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Remember that if you want to support us, you can do that with the number shown on your screen, or reach out to us via email at opmediang@gmail.com. We're not going anywhere. Let's meet with the Know Your Faith team on Know Your Faith. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Know Your Faith series. I am Collins, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the vocation of the lay faithful. Now, among the faithful, we have those who have received the sacrament of the Holy Order, who form the hierarchy of the church, and the others are referred to as the lay faithful. Basically, the non-religious, per se, are those who are referred to the lay faithful. That is you and me, if you fall into that category. And, you know, there is there's an ideology or there's a thought that, because we have the religious, we have the priests, the reverend sisters, the bishops and all those, they are the ones who are just meant to, carry out the gospel or do only spiritual things, and we're just supposed to go and listen to them and keep it. And on another episode, we talked about how important it is to spread the gospel even as a lay faithful. So in today's episode, I'll be giving you the roles of the lay faithful. So the first is, we see this even in 1 Peter 2:5, is a call to holiness, which refers to offering a spiritual sacrifice that is acceptable to God through Christ. And we should do this every day in our lives and in the lives of the other people that we meet. Now, even in our parishes, we have what we call the Parish Laity Council, and it's basically made up of societies or presidents and secretaries of each society, and they come together to form the PLC Council. And their role is basically simple. First of all, they try as much as possible to support the pastor of the church in whatever means necessary. Their essential role, of course, is to bring the Spirit of Christ into the areas of our secular lives. And it starts from the smallest areas, from the families. So even being a lay faithful, it is your duty as a parent, as a brother, as another sibling, to try as much as possible to spread the gospels to the people that you can. Another role is that they act every day as ministers of the faith, which basically backs up the previous one. So meaning that in your everyday life, you must try as much as possible to still show everyone that you're a Christian and you're one who actually practices the faith. It's not just by word, but also by word and deed. The third role is that they partake in some of the sacred rituals of the church. Of course, in the Catholic Church, we have the lay faithful taking a huge part in the Mass. So it's not just the priest. We have the lectors who take the readings at Mass. We have the altar servers, those who help out the priest on the altar, the choirs, the church wardens, and a whole lot. So we can see that they are a huge part of the church, and not just some, floor members. So we are all called to come to try as much as possible to contribute towards the spiritual growth of the church. So that's it for today's episode. I hope that you've been able to understand that even as a lay faithful, you can, as much as you can, spread the gospel and share it wherever you are through your words and your deeds. If you know any other role that I probably did not mention, please feel free to add in the comment section. Continue to like, share, and subscribe to our channel at Dominican Media Presents on YouTube. And until I come your way next time, be bold and be Catholic.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, Know Your Faith team, for that. Today, our saint for the week is Saint Gertrude the Great. She was born on January 6, 1256 in Germany. She eventually chose to follow the Lord by pursuing a vocation as a Benedictine nun. Her deep relationship with the Lord in prayer led to her being hailed as a mystic. She was also regarded as a great theologian. Gertrude, known for being charming and able to win people over, entered the Benedictine order at Helfta and became a nun. She devoted herself to her studies and received an education in many different subjects. She was both fluent in Latin and very familiar with scripture and works from the father of the church, including Augustine. In 1281, 25-year-old Gertrude experienced her first series of visions that would continue until the day she passed away. Her visions altered her life, and she saw at this moment a new birth. Her priorities turned away from secular teachings and focused more on studying scripture and theology. She once had a vision on the feast of John the Evangelist, described in Gertrude's writing. As she rested her head near Jesus' wound on his side, she could hear the beating of his heart. She asked St. John if he too felt the beating of Jesus' divine heart on the night of the Last Supper. He told her he was saving this revelation for a time when the world needed it to rekindle its love. She went on to become one of the great mystics of the 13th century, alongside Melted. On November 17, 1301, Gertrude passed away a virgin and joined her bridegroom forever. That's Jesus. Throughout her life, Gertrude produced numerous writings, although only a few still exist today. One of her longest surviving works is Legatus Memorialis Abundantiae Divinae Pietatis. I hope I said that correctly. Legatus Memorialis Abundantiae Divinae Pietatis, the herald of divine love. That's what it means in English. Saint Gertrude the Great is a patroness of the West Indies, and she's often invoked for souls in purgatory. Her feast day is celebrated on November 16th. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sticking with us till the end of the show. Don't forget, you can get this episode and other episodes on our YouTube channel at Dominican Media Presents. Also, reach out to us on social media at CFF on TV. Don't forget also to join our chat room on Tuesdays by 7 p.m. with the hashtag CFF chatroom on Instagram. Till I come your way next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.